Boys and girls, it's Miss Hatch here. Um, Little Miss Cameron, that's my baby, is asleep beside me, so hopefully she stays asleep. But if you hear any noises, just know I'm trying to get her to go to sleep, so you may hear some little baby cries or something. Um, so today we are going to talk about the cubes strategy. This is a really great method to help anytime we need to attack a word problem. So, all the second grade teachers have been talking about how word problems are coming up next week and how we know that our kids are going to need lots and lots of practice to master these word problems. So, we want to use this strategy and we just want it to start just becoming something you do every time you work on word problems. Some of you may already do this in your classroom, but it's definitely something we talked about in second grade. We want to make sure we're doing in every classroom. So I want to talk to you about the cube strategy a little bit and talk about what each letter means, because cubes looks like this, but what we're talking about is each letter stands for something in word problems. So down here, I have written them all cute in much prettier font. So the C in cubes stands for circle the numbers. The U in cubes stands for underline the question. The B in cubes stands for box the keywords. Okay, red. The E in cubes stands for eliminate what you don't know. Oh, eliminate is a big word, big college word. But what it just really means is to get rid of. So we're going to get rid of what we don't need. And then S. Oh, I don't know that I can come up with a different color for S. Yellow, I guess you might not be able to see it though. S stands for solve and check. And Miss Burke and I were discussing it, and we decided that in solve and check, we would have a couple different steps in there. So I'll talk more about that with you later. But I'm going to go ahead and go on to a word problem and try to practice my cube strategy. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to move it over here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so that I can make sure I'm doing all of that while I read my word problem. Now, this is before I've done anything. I have not tried to solve it already. I've just tried to use the cube strategy to help. I know some of my friends are going to automatically think, Miss Hatch, I don't need to do this. I'm going to be fine. Boys and girls, I understand your thinking, but I even heard Mr. Hobbs say last week that he feels like if all of our third graders used all the strategies that we taught in kindergarten through third grade, they would all score high fives. But they're not all using their strategies because they're just like you and they think, oh, I want to hurry and get done. Well, we really want to encourage you to try to use this strategy every time you work out a word problem. So we're going to start with reading the word problem. Jenny has some cards on the table. She found 38 more cards in her room. Now she has 65 cards on the table. How many cards did she have to start with? So I'm going to think about my cube strategy. The first thing I have to do is C. Circle the numbers. Okay. I see 38. I see 65. I didn't see any other numbers, so I think I'm ready to go to U. U is underline the question. Boys and girls, the question is not the whole thing. Find the question mark. Oh, here it is. Hi, question mark. You're just going to underline the sentence until you get to the period before. Oh, there's my capital letter. There's my period from the last sentence. This is where it starts. So the question says, how many cards did she have to start with? So, okay, that means to start with. That means how much did she have at the beginning? All right, that's so, So my box is going to be at the beginning. Box the keywords. Let's see. Keywords. I see one. Some is a keyword, SOME. It helps me know that that's the part I don't know. That's my unknown, my missing number. That's the part I don't know. Some. More. Ooh. More. I'm thinking back to what my teacher said. Normally means plus. So hopefully I'm right on that one. Oh, I think that's about it in my boxing the keywords right here. So now I'm ready to eliminate what you don't need. You know, Miss Burke and I were talking about eliminating what you don't need and how that would look when we are working with second graders. We just discussed it's a really good strategy to start looking at and thinking about, because especially in third grade, it'll be very important. I mean, I guess you could eliminate the fact that she found them in her room. I mean, that part's not really important. But the rest of it's pretty important. Again, in third grade, you'll find a lot of word problems that will have a lot of extra information that's there to trick you. So we definitely want you to be able to eliminate that information that's there to trick you. And then our last step is to solve and check. Right here. So to solve and check, Miss Burke and I told you we were talking about the things that we would do under solve and check. It's going to start typing up at the top, but let's, oh wait, no it didn't, yay, okay. So the first thing we were thinking about in solve and check, the first thing everyone should do is write an equation. Oh, Miss Hatch likes prettier font, so let me go try to make that look a little bit better. And I need to make it a little smaller because it's kind of big compared to the rest. Okay, I think that's good. Write an equation will be our first one. And then use the fact family triangle to solve. And then third one, choose your strategy. Usually, if you can remember, strategies were base 10, decomposing, stacking up, or number line. So those are our strategies to solve. And they'll be the same when we have to subtract too. So solve and check, and the first thing I have to do is write an equation. So let me do that. Jenny has some cards on the table. She found 38 more cards in her room. Now she has 65 cards on the table. How many cards does she have to start with? Well, I remember learning from looking at my question right here that I don't know how many she had to start with. So that's where my box should be. That's the part I don't know, the beginning. Then I can read on. She found 38 more. So she found 38 more cards. And now she has 65 cards. Right? So then number 2 was to use the fact family triangle to solve. This is a strategy that not everybody needs to use, but it may be a good beginning point for some of our friends to help us understand how to solve. Because right now, you see this plus sign right here, and almost all of our students think, oh, I need to add 38 plus 65 to get the answer. Not always the case. This fact family triangle helps you figure out which one you're really supposed to do. So I draw a little triangle. And boys and girls, the triangle always has a plus sign right here down at the bottom. And always has a minus sign on each side. Because what happens is the triangle starts with the biggest number at the top. So the biggest number always goes at the top. That's 3. Then our 2 smaller numbers go at the bottom. It's called a whole right here, and then these are the 2 parts. And sometimes in our fact family triangle, we won't know one of the parts, and sometimes in our fact family triangle, we won't know the whole. And we'll have to either use subtraction to figure out the whole, one of the parts, or we'll have to use addition to figure out the whole. So Miss Burke and I were talking about it, and we decided that all of our students have really benefited in the past from labeling their equation now that they've drawn their triangle. So I always say this little rhyme, a little chant. Miss Schrader would be proud of me. See, this is as addition. So to label our equation, we would say addition is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now that I have my equation labeled and my triangle drawn, all I have to do is go in and just plug in the numbers. See how 3 is below 65? So I'm going to put 65 on top. Then 38 goes with 2. And then box goes with 1. Now, I always circle my 2 numbers. Well, here's 65, here's 38. I draw a big circle. And I see whether my addition symbol is in the middle or subtraction. I can automatically see the subtraction symbol. So to solve this, I would actually subtract. And stack it up would be my strategy I like to use. And then I'd begin to subtract 65, take away 38. This week we're going to be talking about subtraction with regrouping. I'm not going to continue to go any further and solve, but be staying tuned for videos about subtraction with regrouping, or looking to Brain Pop or some other really good resource for practice with subtraction with regrouping. Okay, have a good night. Bye.